Did you know that the majority of the SBR students who fail actually know the content? The problem isn't the knowledge, it's how they use it in the exam. And there are 5 specific mistakes that come up again and again, costing students marks they should have had. Today, we are going to fix that. Hi, I'm Justina from Practices Academy. If you are new here, we help ACCA and CIMA students pass their exams, and this video is a continuation of earlier SBR guide called Pass ACCA SBR First Time, the strategy nobody tells you about. Link in the description if you haven't seen it before. In that video, our lead SBR tutor, Lilia, walks you through how to study, what techniques work, and how to build your practice strategy. Today, we go one step further because even students who know the right strategy can still lose marks through avoidable mistakes. We are talking about things like knowledge dumping, like losing professional marks through poor structure or mishandling the group accounting spreadsheet. And studying in a way that worked for FR completely fails in SBR. Lilia is going to share her perspective first, and then we'll take you through all the 5 areas in detail with examples, fixes, and everything you need to walk into that exam knowing exactly what to avoid. Let's go!
As a tutor, quite often I see that people answer the wrong exam. This exam is about strategic business reporting. It's not about accounting. So if your answer looks like debit that, credit that, most likely you are going to score 0 marks. Why? Because in this very exam, you need to explain why it has to be like this or like that. You need to explain why you put this number or that number. So you would need to say that property, plant, equipment will be recognized at cost, not at fair value, right? So you need to stress this very word, not just put the numerical answer there. You need to be able to justify. And frankly speaking, it doesn't really matter what the final answer is. What matters is that you are going to explain why this idea works or doesn't work. What are the red flags that show that you are not yet ready for the exam? The red flags would be that when you open a question, when you read it, you don't see the clues that would tie the question to the answer that you are trying to provide. Also, it would be vital for you to practice the key topics that are tested in each and every session. So, for example, everything related to question 1, when you will have to adjust the consolidation, correct the mistakes, and you will have to introduce the adjustments to spreadsheets. That has to be absolutely spot on when you practice. Another red flag is that you don't know how to attempt ethics in questions, because that is something that will be tested in each and every question too. So these 2 major topics is something that has to be done perfectly in your practice. And of course, you will feel overwhelmed with knowledge because there is so much of it. But when you are able to read the question and see the ideas inside of it, this means that you are ready. And my final tip would be to pay attention to how you formulate your answer. I would remind you that you can't use words such as and. You can't just state your ideas, you need to justify them. You need to justify them because your marking scheme is going to say 1 mark per relevant point, and point is not something that is stated, but what is explained with the reference to the standards. So that is how it works, and I wish you all good luck with your SBR exam. Bye.
So you've been working your socks off for the Strategic Business Reporting exam. You've heard all the standard advice, right? Practice more, manage your time, do all the mocks. But what if the real difference between a pass and a fail comes down to a few hidden mistakes? The kind of mistakes that even the sharpest students make without even realizing it.
Okay, let's get real for a minute. It's time to be honest with ourselves, because spotting these little errors, well, that's not just a small improvement, it's a massive advantage on exam day.
So here's our game plan. We're going to break down the 5 key areas where students bleed marks. We'll start with technical answer traps, then move to question-specific pitfalls, those all-important professional marks, smarter ways to revise, and finally, the big one, the SBR mindset shift.
First up, let's talk about your technical answers. The biggest trap you can fall into here is treating SBR like it's just a memory test. It's absolutely not. Your technical knowledge, that's just the ticket to the game, it's not how you win it. And look, don't just take my word for it. This is a direct quote from an ACCA examiner's report, and it highlights their #1 pet peeve. It's called knowledge dumping, and honestly, it's a guaranteed way to waste time and lose marks. So here's what that looks like in practice. A weak answer just recites the rules. Lists the 5 steps of IFRS 15. A strong answer applies them. It explains why a certain step is the problem in this specific scenario. A weak answer lists off the criteria for capitalizing something. A strong answer grabs a fact from the scenario, like no market research, and uses it as evidence to argue why a criterion isn't met. It's simple. Apply, don't just state.
The second technical trap? Silent calculations. In SFBR, your numbers need to tell a story. Just slapping a final number for goodwill on the page tells the marker nothing. They need to see your thinking. You have to provide a narrative, a little story that explains the why behind your numbers. Why did you pick that NCI method? How did you get to that fair value? Your workings have to speak for themselves. Now let's switch gears and look at mistakes tied to specific question types. Because in SBR, understanding the format is every bit as important as knowing the accounting standards.
Question 1, the big group accounting question. So many marks are just given away here. Examiners say the same things every single year. People are typing over the original numbers, hiding complex formulas in one cell, and deleting figures. This makes it impossible for the marker to follow your logic, and you lose all those potential follow-through marks. So what's the fix? It's really simple, and it's exactly what the examiners are asking for. Do not touch the original numbers. Instead, add new columns for your adjustments and label them clearly. This creates a perfect, crystal-clear audit trail for the marker. They can see the original, your adjustment, and your final figure. It looks professional, and it's how you scoop up all the marks. And this same application trap shows up in the ethics questions. Just listing off the principles, integrity, objectivity, gets you a big fat 0. You have to connect the dots. You have to explain how the manager's pressure creates an intimidation threat, why that specific threat messes with objectivity, and what the awful consequence could be. That's what applied analysis is all about.
And hey, a super quick but vital point on Section B. If a question says, discuss from the perspective of an investor, then every single word you write has to be about what an investor actually cares about. Returns, risk, decision-making. If you ignore that, you're basically answering a completely different question.
All right, let's talk about professional marks. These aren't just bonus points, okay? They are baked into the SBR pass mark. They are the easiest marks to win if you're structured, and frankly, the easiest marks to just throw away if you're not. 4 marks in every SBR exam are for professional skills. Think about that for a second. That is so often the exact difference between a 48 and a 52, between a fail and a pass. Let that sink in. So, how do you lose them? Oh, it's easy. You just write a giant wall of text with no paragraphs or headings. You jump between different ideas randomly, and then you just stop with no conclusion. That just screams not a professional to the person marking your script.
And how do you earn them? It's just as easy, really. Use the question requirements as your headings. Structure your answer with a quick intro and a conclusion. Make sure your points flow logically. That's it. It's not about using fancy words. It's about clear, professional communication.
Let's move on to our 4th area, your revision strategy. Because here's the thing. Even the brightest students can fail if they study for SBR in the wrong way. The biggest mistake of all is falling into what I call the SBR trap. This is the belief that SBR is just financial reporting on steroids. That mindset forces you to focus on memorizing rules, which is the exact opposite of what you need for an exam that's all about professional judgment.
And this trap leads to all these bad habits. You try to learn standards word for word, you completely ignore the absolute goldmine of information in the official examiner's reports, and worst of all, you passively read model answers instead of actively writing your own. Reading an answer and actually writing one under pressure are two completely different skills. So the fix is to start thinking like an examiner. Instead of memorizing a rule, understand the principle behind it. Ask yourself why. Read every single examiner's report you can get your hands on. They are literally telling you how to pass the exam. And please, use the official ACCA practice platform. It's the only way to get a feel for the real pressure and the real exam software.
So when you put all of these pieces together, what does it all add up to? Well, it adds up to a fundamental shift in your mindset.
This is it. This is the core message. It's not about what you can remember, it's about how you can think. SBR is testing your ability to act like a professional accountant who's been thrown into a complex, messy, ambiguous situation.
Look, your job in the exam room is not to give a lecture on IFRS 9. Your job is to be an advisor, to use your knowledge of IFRS 9 to analyze a messy, real-world problem and then communicate a clear, reasoned professional conclusion. That is the skill that gets you over the line in SBR.
So let's end with this. Be honest with yourself. Based on everything we've just talked about, from knowledge dumping to spreadsheet technique to those professional marks, what's the #1 change you're going to make, starting right now in your very next practice answer? Figuring that out is the first step to turning these common mistakes into your own personal passing advantage.
So, there you have it. The 5 mistakes that cost SBR students marks and exactly what to do instead. From how you structure your answers to how you can handle the group accounting spreadsheet to 4 professional marks that so often sit between a fail and a pass. The honest truth is that SBR is not a knowledge exam. It never was. It's a judgment exam. And the students who pass are the ones who stop trying to remember everything and start thinking like a professional advisor the examiner wants to see. If you found this useful, make sure to watch our first SBR guide, Pass ACCA SBR First Time, the strategy nobody tells you about, where Lilia walks you through the full study approach, techniques, and practice strategy. Link in the description. And if you feel like you want someone to actually guide you through all this, the standards, the practice questions, the exam technique, we have a full SBR course at Practices Academy that is actually taught by Lilia. It's everything we've covered in those videos, but structured, in-depth, and with proper practice built in. The link is in the description if you want to have a look. No pressure. Give this video a like if it helped, subscribe for more ACCA content, and good luck with your SBR prep. You've got this.